Hi and welcome to this short presentation on the BA Media and Communications degree programme at Queen Margaret University. I'm Dr Leslie Ann Dixon, one of the lecturers in Film and Media here in the Division of Media, Communication and Performing Arts at QMU. And for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the programme, an overview of the structure, pull out some key modules and introduce you to some of the staff who would be teaching you should you join us here at QMU. So first of all, starting with the structure. The degree is broken down into three main strands. Critical Media and Cultural Studies, which is the theoretical arm of the degree. Industry, Audiences and Contexts, which is where we focus on the real world media landscape. And Practical Media Making, which is the production skills-based element of the programme. However, all of these strands are interconnected, and they all relate to the overarching aim of the programme, which is about giving you, the student, a balance of theory and practice. In Critical Media and Cultural Studies, we will be asking big questions about the media. What is the media's influence? How do different media create different meanings? And how does the media contribute to our understanding of our social world? In Industry, Audiences and Contexts, we'll be looking at the media as an industry, as a business. We'll be thinking about how it functions, how it survives, is it sustainable? We'll be looking at who controls the media, who owns it, who are the decision makers, why do certain things get made and others don't, and how do they get made? We'll also be thinking about audienceship. How are audiences changing in a digital media environment? In Practical Media Making, we'll be handing the tools over to you guys and asking you to create your own media content, whether that be written or visual, still or moving image. And we'll be asking you to work together with your peers. The reason for this is to mimic the real world media industry context, where co-creation, partnership and collaboration are crucial. Your programme leaders are myself and Dr Jill Marshall, who would be your main contacts over the course of your degree. However, we are joined with a whole range of teaching staff, with a range of specialisms across film, media, communications and public relations. We have Dr Marty Zeller-Jacks, who runs the Film and Media programme and specialises in convergent storytelling and television narrative. Dr Mark Percival is our popular music and radio specialist. Anne Turner has a focus on public relations and the use of humour in health communication. Emma Wood looks at communicating with marginalised groups and has a particular interest in charities and third sector. Dr Mark Gillam is our production photography specialist and is joined by Waleed Salhab and Graham Drysdale, who focus on video content, both fiction and non-fiction, and storytelling. Dr Stephanie Vandepeer is our global film and global cinema cultures specialist, while Dr Robert Munro focuses on Scottish screen, Scottish film and the Scottish film industry. Dr Dominic Hind is our online journalism specialist with an interest in global journalism, particularly around subjects such as the environment and climate change. So a whole range of specialisms within the division that will help you tailor and customise your degree to your own interests. So I'm now going to look a little bit about the modules that you'll be taking should you join us. First of all, in year one, you'd be studying media and communications, looking at media production, developing your skills and techniques, media analysis, media communications industries, digital content creation, which is a module sort of specific to this degree programme, and media production, which looks at a video project. So as you'll see from those modules, that sort of three-way industry theory and practical elements are very much embedded in that structure. In year two, you'll be looking at media campaigning, media production, focusing more on storytelling and narrative, disruption in the media industry, so looking at key moments of disrupt, such as the advent of video on demand, client project, popular media cultures, media production, but focusing this time on online journalism. And then in year three, you start to customise your programme. So you get the choice of picking from an electives list, an options list of different subject areas that might interest you. You'll study these alongside persuasive communications, media, politics and culture, entrepreneurship in film, media and the communications sectors, which starts to prepare you for your career. and designing a research project, which is a research methods module which will prepare you for dissertation. In year 4, that customisation continues. Again, you're allowed to pick 2 specific options that are tailored towards your interest as it's been growing throughout your degree. You will also study those alongside Modernity on Screen, a media freelancing project, and then of course your dissertation, which is the culmination of your studies. I'm now going to go through each of the years and just pull out some of the modules to give you a little bit of a flavour of them in more depth. So in level 1, media analysis, this is a module that will interest you to techniques and tools for analysing media text. We'll be showing you television, film, games, social media and advertising text and asking you to analyse them in great depth, providing you with the tools to do so. We'll be thinking about images as constructions, things that are constructed for a particular purpose. Why are they constructed this way? What are the meanings and messages that we take from them? You'll be asked as part of the assessment to analyse a specific media text of your choosing. That might be a Vogue cover, it could be a social media text, it might be a film. You'll also be asked to produce a critical essay in which you think problematically about the implications of these media messages. So thinking about that Vogue cover, what are the implications of those images and the symbols within it? In media production, you'll be looking at skills and techniques. This is sort of introductory production module. You'll be thinking about concepts of communication through video and through photography. You'll learn to use video and photography equipment and start to develop your own creative practice and style. Here, you're assessed very differently, very practically. You'll be asked to produce a video project, which is a 3-minute group video. You'll be asked to produce a photography portfolio, which will be based around a particular theme. So, for example, pandemics. As you'll see from these differing assessment structures, the whole point at QMU is to assess students via lots of different ways. This is not a degree programme that will continually ask you to produce an essay. In level 2, you'll be looking at media production again, but this time focusing on online journalism. Here you'll be developing your critical awareness of the contemporary journalistic landscape, thinking about the skills in creating visual and textual journalistic material and putting that into practice. You'll be using a content management system which will replicate the real world situation, developing your skills, your practical skills even further. As part of the assessment, you'll do an individual project, which can be both photography or written, and you'll do a group journalism production project. And we'll hear a little bit more from Dom about that later on. In this module, in popular media and culture, you'll be exploring more theoretical questions. So you'll be thinking about key issues and debates within media and popular culture. So things like celebrity culture. What is celebrity culture? What does it mean? What are its implications? Fandom and fan communities, how do they form? How do they behave? What are the habits, practices and rituals within those fan communities? You might be thinking about digital gaming cultures, subcultures, or consumer culture. For this, you'll be asked to do an essay, a critical essay, in which you think about, the purpose of celebrity culture, its evolution, its position within the world. And you'll be asked to do a case study. So you might pick a particular celebrity culture, a celebrity set, for example, the Kardashians. With fandom, you might be asked to pick a particular fan community centred around a specific text, for example. Again, these differing assessments will help you showcase your all-round skill set that you're developing across your degree, doing practical work, but also doing critical and theoretical writing. I'm now going to pass you over to Dom to talk a little bit about that online journalism and the journalistic route that you could choose to go down during the course of your degree.
Hi, my name is Dominic Hind. I'm a lecturer in media and communication at QMU, and I teach a lot of our journalism content. So I'm in charge of 3 modules across the undergraduate experience at QMU. The first of these is digital content creation, which I teach with colleagues, and this is really about teaching students to manipulate and work with different types of media in an online environment. So using social media to drive traffic, understanding things like analytics, understanding how media works on the internet, and also generating content that is put onto our custom content management system, which we've developed ourselves, and which really imitates the real world kind of systems that students will be working on if they graduate and go into the media industries. This is followed by a second year module called Online Journalism, which is even more journalism focused, and that's where we go through things like news finding, writing news stories, media law, being ethical, how to write human interest stories, how to write and use interactive stories, and really all the kinds of things you're seeing in current developments in journalism, so that our students are ready to work in that world when they graduate. And then for students who are interested in pursuing the journalism track, we've also got a fourth year elective course, which I teach myself, which is called Global Journalism. And global journalism is about writing big stories which tie together big global issues. So we look at things like climate change, poverty and inequality, and technology, things like data and how these affect our society. And we write stories using these really big issues and also our local environment and our local setting. And we use a really, really good interactive digital storytelling platform called Shorthand to do that. So if you've got any questions about the journalism modules at QMU, feel free to get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to answer.
So moving on to level 3 module examples, I've pulled out media, politics and culture. So in this module, you'll be introduced to key critical theories for thinking about the way the media actually works in relation to politics and to culture. So you'll be exploring things like the political economy, fake news, how the public service media works in a digital age, how it's had to reinvent itself somewhat, and thinking about the politics of social media. For this, you'll be asked to do a case study and essay where you critically talk about the impact, for example, of the of fake news narratives. You might be using a particular case study, potentially the celebrity on screen. So really starting to develop that sort of critical discourse around about these big topics. You'll also be looking at entrepreneurship in the film and communication sector. So this is where really we're getting you to start to think about your career and what that might look like, if that's going to be as a freelance practitioner or an employee, or if you're thinking of entrepreneurship and starting up your own business. For this, we'll be asking you to produce either a business plan or a strategic professional development plan, and where you map out your career and the steps and the goals that you wish to undertake upon leaving your degree. We then move on to level 4, which is your dissertation. This is the culmination of your learning and your skills across the degree programme, and this is where you get to choose how you wish to specialise at the end of your degree. You might choose to do a written dissertation, or indeed a production-based dissertation in video or photography, for example. This all leads back to this key idea about allowing you to tailor your degree to your interests and to your ambitions. So throughout your degree, towards the latter half, in level 3, level 4, in addition to tailoring your dissertation and customising that to the way in which you wish to specialise, you will also be able to pick 2 electives in level 3 and 2 electives in level 4. And I've just put a list of the sort of currently available lectures to give you a flavour of how varied they are, from video production to political communication, international public relations, the video essay, popular music, television drama, the American West and popular culture. So just a whole host of different options there for you, all emerging from those specialisms in terms of staff that I was talking about earlier and their particular interests and areas of expertise. For my own module, for example, film festivals, you may wish to be thinking about a career in events or sort of film culture, cinema, film festival organisation or programming, for example. In this module, we think about the history of film festivals, so their political, their geopolitical roots. We learn about festival programming and how to market an event. We also have guest speakers from the world of film festivals, so I invite people along from Valletta Film Festival, from Edinburgh Film Festival, Glasgow Film Festival, from Africa in Motion. So just to talk to you about the different ways, the different aspects of festival management and festival programming. We will attend local festivals that take place within the course of the module. And part of the assessment here is for you to plan your own festival, to think about a theme, an identity, a programme for a festival of your choosing. So that's just one example of an elective that you might take over the course of your degree. So thinking about the skills that you'll learn, one of the main things is communication. And that seems a really obvious one in a media and communications degree, but you will become an excellent writer. You will be able to communicate stories and facts and information visually, verbally, and through the written word. You'll be curating media content, journalism, video content, still images. You'll become a good researcher. You'll begin to think critically, strategically, methodologically. You'll be an expert in teamwork, in co-creation, collaboration, in partnering up with other people in order to create content. As part of that, you'll be a good project manager, planning your time, planning your efforts, skill sets, delegating, working with other people. So these are skills that are completely transferable to any context upon leaving your degree. And you'll become an excellent storyteller, both fiction and non-fiction, and be able to articulate yourself clearly. In the words of Lady Gaga, you'll be talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same again. So what types of careers do people go into upon completing a media and communications degree? You might move into the media industries, become a copywriter, an editor, an advertising exec. You might work in the film sector. You might be working in production, distribution, exhibition. Or you might become a media producer, a filmmaker. You might move into the arts and culture sector, so managing an arts organisation, for example, a theatre. You might go into festival programming, so taking that film festival module, for example, you might move into working for a film festival, being their programmer, being their learning and talent development officer. You might move into funding and development, potentially within an arts organisation. Or you might go down the communications industry route in digital marketing. You might be a social media analyst, a media campaigner, a PR. So lots of options there. In terms of policy, you might be interested in shaping policy, shaping legislation. You might become a cultural policymaker, working for Creative Scotland, for example, a research officer or a report writer. You might then choose to go into education. So you might think about a master's. We have excellent masters here at QMU. Seems a long way off, but it's there for you if you wish to continue your studies. We have masters in digital content creation, in media management, in strategic communications. You might choose to go into primary or secondary teaching and focusing on media education and literacy. Or you may even choose to continue and do a PhD. The options are yours. I thank you for your time today and welcome any questions. I've put our email on the screen here for myself and for Jill, or indeed for admissions. So thank you for your time. I very much hope that you choose to come and join us next year. Thank you.